Do y'all ever see these Pinterest people that have like hundreds of thousands of followers and you're like, how in the world do they do that? Well, that's not me. I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers on Pinterest, but I do use Pinterest to drive traffic to my website and have had a ton of success with it, even though I don't have a ton of followers on Pinterest. It's actually a brand new Pinterest account. Last year I started it, and I have been able to drive thousands of people from Pinterest to my Shopify website and have had a lot of questions about how I've done that with such a small account. And it hasn't been with paid ads. The reason for that is because I have built my entire business organically. And in this whole process of teaching you guys what I've learned, which if you haven't watched that series, it's all here, where I've been going month by month through my earnings for both the platforms and showing you guys which is the better platform. And Shopify has won it hands down every single month, like 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of money that Etsy is bringing in. I cover all of the things in those videos. And so in that tutorial, my biggest thing was showing that you could grow it organically. I wanted to be able to compare the two platforms evenly without paying for ads, because not everybody has money to put into ads. With TikTok, it's like a constant keeping up with the algorithm, keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. And it's exhausting sometimes. And so that's why I have always used, good SEO and those types of things. And that is why Pinterest has become a part of the mix as well. So how have I grown my Pinterest to Shopify numbers? What have I done to make that happen? And, I think first of all is the one thing that I hammer away at every single time I do a tutorial for you guys. And that is I know my niche. I know who I'm targeting. It is women, it is moms who want to stay home with their kids. Your niche is hugely important. And so, I always hammer away at that. So I know who my niche is, which is, I think, a huge part of my success. And I create my products to reach those people, and I create my pens to reach those people. I always have them in mind when I am creating content for any of my platforms. I always have them in mind. So, what do they want to see? What's going to attract them? What is trending in their generation right now that they want to see more of? Okay, how can I help solve a problem for them? What ways can I educate them about what I'm doing? So these are the things that you need to think about when you're creating your pens for Pinterest. So the strategy really isn't so much like a cookie cutter strategy for every single person that starts a Pinterest account and starts marketing their business. The strategy is knowing your niche and who you're marketing to, making sure that you're creating good quality products around that niche, making sure you're creating good quality eye-catching pens that are going to target that niche, and then understanding which pens are performing well so that you can then create more pens like that. And then also understanding which ones are converting to sales on your website. Understanding all of these things is what will help you develop a good strategy for Pinterest. So I'm going to show you some things inside of Pinterest that will help you to understand kind of what's happening. When I first go to Pinterest, this is my Pinterest account. So this is your main page. It shows every pen that you have created. One of the beautiful things about Pinterest is evergreen, so your content will continue to come up over and over and over again through the years, kind of like YouTube does. So it's a very evergreen platform, which I love. So this is the created side. If you go to saved side, it's going to show you not only pins that you've created, but also pins that you've saved either from other creators or if you use the Tailwind app, once you've created a pin once, then it basically repins it to a different board. So maybe I pin it to PLR templates the first time, and the next time is to passive income ideas. So you can see there's this pin here and this pin here. They're the same pin. So it's not going to show up in created twice, but it has been saved in more than one place. And so that's why it's going to show up there. So if I click on all pins in here, I can get a better idea of what people are interacting with. So this is kind of I'm going to take you down a funnel here. So I started you on the main page, and I'm going to take you down a funnel of understanding what is working on your Pinterest account so that you can optimize on that and create more content like what is working. Okay. So at a glance, I can see the eyeball is how many impressions there have been. So that means how many eyes it's actually gotten in front of. So that's the first thing. The little pin is how many times it's been pinned. So like this one's been pinned 4 times. The pin click is here. So that means somebody actually clicked on the pin. And if I want to look at more in depth, I can click that analytics. So I've had 1.35 thousand impressions, 13 pin clicks, 4 saves, and 13 outbound clicks, which this is a really great ratio. That means that the 13 people that actually clicked the pin to look at it also then went ahead and clicked the pin to go to my website. So these are important to understand so that you know like which pins are working and which ones aren't. Okay, so we have our niche and who we're marketing to, and we've created beautiful pins and beautiful products that market to that niche, and we've started creating our pins every day. So you're going to have 1 video pin a day and 2 to 3 static pins, which are just images, a day. And they're going to be a mixture of content. I mean, my biggest ones are education and information, and then sales. So that's kind of like that first part of the funnel. The second part of the funnel is then beginning to look at and understand how your pins are doing. And this is something that, I mean, you can go in here and check, but when you're first getting started, this may be like, you know, four eyeballs and no pin clicks or anything. And that's okay. It takes time for your pins to get noticed and found and to get engagement. And the more you post, the more you'll start popping up amongst the things that your audience is looking for. Okay. So it's going to take some time. So once you've done that first part, that first section, then this is where you're going to come next to start evaluating your pins. And obviously the more you have, the more you'll be able to look at it. So you can kind of get some ideas there. The next thing that you want to do, which this is going to be a deeper dive, is to go into your analytics overview. Let's go down here. So first of all, this is outbound clicks. So these are actually product groups, which I have my catalog synced to Pinterest, which is why I have product groups. So if you don't have a catalog synced, you won't have this. But this tells me which products people are going in and looking at on my Pinterest site, okay? So this is the most impressions, the most outbound clicks, I already showed you, the most saves. Again, PLR planners, like it just, that seems to be the biggest one. So these are your product groups from your catalog. Top pins, this is the one you really want to look at. These are the ones that have had the most interactions. I have it set to engagement right now. And so this pin has had 312 engagements, which engagements would be saves, pin clicks, outbound clicks, okay? Impressions means it just got in front of their eyeballs. It doesn't mean anybody did anything with it. They saw it, but they didn't do anything with it. But engagement is really what you want to judge your pins on and how well they're performing, because then I can look at this. So this pin here, as crazy as it is, it's a simple little pin, has had the most impressions, the most pin clicks, and the most saves over the last 30 days. Start your digital product store today. Pretty simple. And so now I know, okay, number one, this is a great pin to advertise, to promote, or create an ad around. And number two, this is a great pin to emulate as I'm creating more pins. People liked what was said in the pin. So, you know, you want to, oh, I already clicked out of it, but you want to look and see what did you write in the description? What headline did you use? All those types of things, and use those keywords again as you create more pins. So this is going to be more like a month to 2 months into your pinning process that you're going to really be able to start to see some good results and ideas of what people are interacting with. Maybe sooner. It just depends on how much traction you get right away. But again, if you're creating pins about products that are marketed to your specific niche, then your chances of having a higher engagement rate sooner are good. But this is where you can then go and see what is working and, judge on what you should create more content of. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of interesting because of all of these pins, none of these are the video pins, which video pins used to be what would really grab people's attention, but it's kind of gone back to more of like the static pins. And so then this down here is my top boards. So product board is my top board that gets seen, then business tips, passive income ideas. And so this would be the ones that I probably need to spend the most time pinning to because they're getting seen the most. Obviously, the product pins are my actual products that are, again, synced up through Shopify. And then all these others are just my pins that are either educational or advertising, like my courses or those types of things, or my YouTube channel. Your next thing is to look at your audience insights, where you can tell, are you hitting your target audience with your products? And this is really just a good way to understand who's looking at your content, and is it working to reach the niche audience that you intended to reach. And if it's not, then you can either, figure out how to hit the audience that you wanted to reach, or you can evaluate this and be like, wow, I was not anticipating that this group of people would be interested in this. And so you can then maybe kind of start honing your pins towards that audience rather than your original niche. Sometimes it kind of helps you figure out a more specific niche, or maybe a totally different niche that might be interested in what you're offering. So your audience insights are great. This is a great indicator for me that I'm hitting my target audience. You guys know when I started this business, it was targeting moms who want to stay home with their kids, because that was my passion. That was what I wanted to do. It's why I started doing what I do 25 years ago, more than that now, but to be able to be home with my kids. And so in everything that I do now, it is trying to help other moms be able to stay home with their kids, or now I've kind of expanded more into moms who maybe their kids are starting to go off to school and they need something that is theirs that they can pour themselves into and make that extra income, whether they need the money or they just need something that is like theirs. I know it's easy as a mom to get lost in raising your kids, and then your kids kind of go off to school and you're like, what am I supposed to do with myself now? And so, that's kind of an expansion of my niche. But you can see the age group is 25 to 44 are my biggest age group. I do have some in the 18 to 24 range, but my biggest is the 25 to 34 year olds, which is going to be your young moms. Or it could just be, at this point with the way the economy is, could also be young women who are trying to figure out how to earn extra income, and they don't want to work a traditional job, or maybe they need extra income on top of a traditional job. So I have to take that into consideration as well. But then again, my audience is 81% female, which that is my target audience. Something would be wrong if this was flip-flopped and it was 6.4% female and 81% male. Then I would not have been doing the right job of targeting. And then most likely I wouldn't see the results that I see in Shopify of how many people are coming to the store to shop. And then it breaks it down further with your location and your devices and stuff. And then the other thing that you can look at is your Pinterest trends here. So Pinterest trends, which you can get there from here. So whenever you go into your analytics overview, then you can go to Pinterest trends and it will show you what is trending, and it'll give you suggestions for your products based on what is trending in business and advertising design right now. And so it pulls that up because of keywords that I have embedded into these pins, most likely. But then I can see here, hairstylist branding. Well, I know I have an Acuity website template for hairstylists. So that tells me that I could target this audience here with, number one, my product. Number two, an educational video, because I have a how to edit an Acuity website. So I could drive them to YouTube for that. I could direct them to my products if they're wanting to do branding. I also have a branding kit, so I could also direct them to that. So this kind of gives me ideas of what my products might fit into in what is trending. And I've talked about this before on how to understand Pinterest trends, Google trends. There's a video here that you can watch that takes you into detail on that, on how to use all of this. But I did go ahead and click on that hairstylist, and you can see it is skyrocketing as of January, February, a lot. It's kind of crazy, actually. And this is my target audience age and my target demographic. And so this would definitely be something that I would create a pin around, because it's trending and I have something that fits this and it fits my niche. And so this is another great way to strategize what you're going to post. So let's recap real quick. Okay. So number one is niche. Know your niche. Number two, create good products for your niche that is going to attract them. Number three, create good pins that are going to showcase your products. And so in the creating good pins, you want 1 video pin and 2 to 3 static pins a day is your goal. If you don't get there, just do as much as you can. Okay. So those are the first 3 steps. Step 4 is, after about a week, maybe 2 weeks, go to that main page and look and see at a glance kind of what people are looking at, what is catching people's eye. Let's create more of that. Then after about a month or so, you can start digging more into that analytics side and see which pins are getting the most traction, which ones are getting the most engagement, because Pinterest is going to show your pins more if there's more engagement with them. So if there's saves, if there's pin clicks, if there's outbound clicks, those are the ones that Pinterest is going to then throw in front of more eyes because they're getting engagement. So engagement is important on Pinterest. And this is how you will formulate your strategy for Pinterest step by step, so that you are optimizing the platform for your business. And I just think it's important to realize that it's not going to be a cookie cutter thing. Each person's is going to look differently, but if you follow these steps, then you'll be able to funnel your work the right direction so that you're not wasting time and energy creating all this random stuff. You can create, for 2-3 weeks, you're creating one video, 2 to 3 static pins. You're just doing that over and over again. Then you're going in and you're analyzing, okay, which ones are people looking at? Then you're creating more pins that are in that direction using the same keywords and same types of titles, those types of things, not exactly the same. And then maybe pinning them to some different boards to see which boards are getting the most traction. Then you go deeper a month in and you analyze which pins are performing best, which ones are getting the most outbound clicks, like the engagement, which boards are getting the most traction. And if you have a catalog synced with your Pinterest, then you also want to make sure of which product boards or product groups are being looked at the most. And then you can dig deeper into your audience. Make sure that your audience that is engaging with your pins is the audience that you're trying to target with your products, with what you're offering. So you're gonna, look into that. And then also you're gonna look into the trends as you get further in. And that may be, 4 to 6 months in that you start really digging into the trends, because, you've got to make sure that you're establishing, your patterns, your habits, your posting habits as you go. And then you can start sprinkling in, okay, here's a trending product that's not anything that I've done before, but I can definitely do something here, and start adding those in. And then you can analyze how those perform. And so as you do this over the next several months, you will really develop the strategy of what works and what doesn't. And then you can create or repost pins that are doing well so that you continue to grow that whole audience that then goes to your website and makes purchases, which would be your final goal. Another thing about Pinterest to remember is it is a search engine. It is not a social media platform, which means that the algorithms are not finicky like they are on TikTok or even YouTube sometimes. The algorithms are much more fluid on Pinterest. So you could be marketing, if you do affiliate marketing, you could be marketing 100 different products out there, and it's not going to mess up your Pinterest account because you are each pin is like a standalone pin, and it's going to be shown to whoever it is that it needs to be shown to. And so, I try to keep everything inside of this account around passive income ideas, but I can absolutely do my affiliate marketing through this exact same Pinterest account simply by creating a board of products I love or products I use, products that make my life as a stay-at-home mom easier, products that make my passive income business flourish. There's all different types of things that I could do that will still fit into my passive income page that are going to hit the same target audience, niche audience, but they may not have anything to do with what I'm selling or anything like that. They're just affiliate links. So there's a lot more flexibility inside of Pinterest than there are on a lot of other platforms. So that is what it looks like to kind of formulate a strategy for your Pinterest account. Remember, Pinterest is evergreen. So just because a pin doesn't take off immediately doesn't mean that it won't later. It might not, but you just never know. And I don't ever remove pins. I just let them fall further down. And then if they start getting some traction, I'll repin them to a different board or something like that. But once you kind of learn these steps and start following them, then your strategy will create the funnel that you want to redirect people to your website and make the sales. Everything will be linked up in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.